Las Vegas police have a ninth teen in custody for the murder of Jonathan Lewis, the 17-year-old brutally beaten to death by his own classmates, according to police.
Never seen anything like this before. A 12-year-old just arrested for murder is marched shirtless and in cuffs to a waiting car. Then a second suspect gets the same treatment, only he has a shirt on. He's 17.
3 teenage boys who aren't even old enough to drive are accused of killing another teen, and each are being charged as adults.
15-year-old Baby K. He's wanted on attempted murder charges.
Yeah, we've been following this one since it happened on May 1st. Police say Baby K was one of 3 teens who tried to kill a student on that bus. Police already arrested 2 of those teens and a 14-year-old girl.
In the U.S., black children under the age of 13 are twice as likely to die by suicide than white children. Over the past decade, suicide attempts among black children rose 92%.
New data from California's Department of Public Health shows the suicide rate of black youth has doubled since 2014. And in 2020, 12 out of every 100,000 black 18 to 24-year-olds died by suicide.
As of December 5th in Chicago, 364 children have been shot in 2022. That's a decrease of 9.9% for this time last year, when 404 children were shot. However, the number of children killed in shootings increased to 54 so far this year. That's up from 49 in 2021.
Brian and Sarah, authorities, prosecutors say that they found some YouTube videos from these men in particular who were bragging about what was going on, and that they say the motive behind these shootings was notoriety. Well, they did get noticed by law enforcement. Law enforcement says 4 men, members of a gang, are responsible for 5 shootings. 2 men were killed, 5 others were shot and injured. Dante Sutton, Jameer Brunson Gans, Elijah Soto, and Khalil Henry have been charged with homicide and gun crimes.
This group sought notoriety, they sought infamy, they sought attention.
Atlanta police say there were 3 shooters and only 1 intended target, but 6 teens were shot in the crossfire. Atlanta police say the shooters were going after 15-year-old Cameron Jackson. He died from his injuries on Monday. 12-year-old Zion Charles was also hit by one of the bullets and died on scene. It is heartbreaking, but also alarming. And you're about to see surveillance video showing the shooters, who appear to be celebrating and all smiles just minutes after causing pure chaos on Saturday night.
Baltimore City High Schools, not a single student who took the 2023 math exam in the spring scored proficient. Not one.
Recently released standards of learning scores have showed Richmond Public Schools is falling behind the state's average again. Ahead of tomorrow night's emergency meeting, Richmond School Board member Jonathan Young is speaking out.
We're at a moment of crisis.
SOLs measure the success of Virginia public school students in subjects like reading, math, and science.
Do black men care about black boys? That's a serious question I have. Do we truly care about the next generation of young black males? I know we get online and we talk about the issues with black men and raising awareness for black men and Gen Z and all this other kind of stuff. But if you really peel the layers back on all of that, the things that we talk about are not out of concern for young black men coming up. The things that we're talking about are actually about us complaining about our own issues. It's us complaining about our issues with women, about how we can't get the outcomes that we want with women. No, we're not really talking about the youth at all. All this raising awareness and looking after the black boys really has devolved into us complaining about our outcomes with women. That's really what it's boiled down to. Because really think about this for a second. You can look across the country, the test scores for young black boys in school has plummeted. The suicide rate has skyrocketed. The murder rate, the amount of young men who can't make it, who won't make it to C-18, either because they're dead or because they've been given long prison sentences, is going through the roof. The suicide rate amongst young black males is going through the roof. The accidental overdoses with young black men is going through the roof. These kids are, a large portion of them, unfathered, unguided, unloved, uneducated, angry. And they're taking it out on each other. And it's not even a secret. These young males are crying out for help. That's what this quote unquote drill music is. You got young men who are getting on social media, getting on songs, getting on YouTube videos, outright saying, hey, I pop pills, I get drunk, I smoke weed, and I'm going to kill this person. Then you got the other person. I pop pills too. I smoke weed too. I get high and drunk as myself, and I'm going to kill him. Have you listened to young folks' music? These young males? It's all about being depressed, being suicidal, fighting demons, not thinking they're going to live long, preparing to take the life of somebody else, going through it because of all the young people that they grew up with whose lives were already taken. Young black males are telling everybody who will listen, I'm angry, I'm depressed, I'm scared, I'm traumatized, and I'm either going to end somebody else's life or they're going to end mine.
All this money on my head, I supposed to been dead. All this money on my head, I ain't never scared. I like to run up on his ass and leave straight red. They say I'm fucked up in the head, I need to take the meds. But I'm with Crazy K, he say he want everybody dead.
We left a whole lot of blood on the cement. Pop a perky and turn to a demon. Look in the hoodie, they know it's the season. Spot him in traffic and send him to Venus. Brody gon' rinse him, Brody gon' leave him. We left him leaking, cause he was tweaking. Gun in his mouth, nigga, watch how you
try to play tough with his bitch, got smoked with the bitch. That nigga died, he try to play tough with his bitch, got smoked with a bitch. He must not know, but I'm in the spot, new where you gon' go in this big spot. You folks get close, he like I got him. All of you did and ask you shots. They like shorty a demon, I know I'm a problem. I'm hopping out blowing, you know I ain't stop.
And they've been telling us this for a long time now, out in the open. And we're either ignoring it or dancing to it and acting like it's fun. It's the same thing on the women's side. You got young girl after young girl after young girl saying, look, I'm traumatized. I got trust issues. I got too much stuff on my plate. I'm sad. I want to be loved. I want to be cared for. I haven't been able to find a man to treat me right. I'm drinking a lot. I'm smoking a lot. I'm promiscuous. And where are the older women going around putting their arms around these young women and really helping them? No, this is the sad part. In Black America, the older, the folks who should be the elders, who should be hearing what these young people are saying and doing and saying, oh my goodness, we really got to get out there and help them. We really got to get out there and teach them. We really got to reach out to them and tell them it's going to be all right. We really got to get out there and put an arm around them. We're treating young folks' dysfunction as something cool, as something hip. Because we actually don't have the time or the care to lead the young people, to help the young people, to teach the young people. We'd rather just be cool and fit in with them. We don't want to lead or mentor or teach young people. We want to fit in with them and be cool and be recognized because we don't want to grow up ourselves. So that's why I say, do we really care about black boys? Because they're dying at astronomical rates. Nowadays, if a young man make it to see 28 years old, it's like, oh, he an old head now. 28 years old is old in Black America if you're a male now. What, you made it to 28, you ain't get killed? Here's another part. Imagine not only making it to 28, but not having anybody that you were cool with being killed. You still alive, and everybody that you were associated with, none of them got killed either. It's like a miracle. I bring this up because we see the T.I. situation with his son, right? And everybody's talking about, oh, he was rich and he was privileged and he's trying to be street. Nobody's really paying attention to what was really going on. Did you hear what the young man said? If I'm a mistake, just say that. And if you really listen to the video, T.I. was wrong. And it shows what the real issue was. They were actually arguing about how King was raised. They're trying to paint the picture that King was raised in the gated community and he really not tough. And King was saying, no, I was outside doing whatever I wanted to do. That's what they're arguing about. They're arguing about how he was raised. Obviously, his parents feel that he was raised a particular way versus what he thinks his experience was. This goes back to the whole issues of how involved his parents actually were, who really raised him, and who really was there. That's what this really is about. And at the end of the day, you're the parent, you're 20 years older, that's your child. There's no reason for you to be arguing, going back and forth with a child. Like, T.I. should have diffused this whole situation. We're not going back and forth. We're not arguing. People got their phones out. You trying to antagon. No, that's T.I. was wrong. And clearly there's issues there, deep issues about his parents' involvement and how he was actually raised and who was actually there for him. Like, this situation is a lot deeper than what people are saying. You got to understand the situation. This young man already came out and said, look, he wasn't really raised by his parents. He's raised by grandma. We already know that he spent the year without his father because his father was locked up. We already know that his father and Tiny had some issues where they were about to break up because he was, dealing with a bunch of different other women. So here's a young man who sees the love and the adoration and respect that his father gets because he led a certain lifestyle. And he's trying to follow in his father's footsteps, and now all of a sudden something's wrong now. It's like, hold on, y'all glorified him and praised him and make it seem like he's the greatest thing ever for living this kind of life. But then when I want to follow in that footstep, now something wrong with me. On top of that, I wasn't necessarily raised having the day-to-day interactions with my father like you would expect, like a child would want to have. On top of that, his father has multiple children with multiple different women, so there's going to be different interactions, different living arrangements, different relationships, jealousy, and all this kind of stuff coming in because the relationships are going to be different based on the relationships with the mother. So you got all this coming in, and the young man says what? If I'm a mistake, just say that. Why would he say that? Deep down, this young man feels as though his father does not have the love for him that he would desire for his father to have for him. And that's why he's acting out. And that's why he's rude and disrespectful. That's why a lot of these young men are out here rude, disrespectful, and violent. Because the men that were supposed to be there and love them were not. And then the men that came around had ulterior motives. A lot of times just want to use you so they can stay out of jail or disregard you and try to get at your mama. And so a lot of these young men are angry and violent and neglected, and they don't have no respect for older black men. And if they don't have respect for older black men, they certainly don't have respect for their peers or even themselves. And this has been going on for the longest time. Out in the open, it's not a secret. I know people say, hey, stop bringing up Chicago. Truth is, we don't got to bring up Chicago no more. Chicago was the first city where you had a bunch of young, unfathered young men out in the open, using drugs, committing crimes, and killing one another. Out in the open. Nobody stopped it. We all looked at it as entertainment. It's not just Chicago anymore. Now this whole thing is all across this country. It's in Philly. It's in New York. It's in Memphis. It's in Texas. It's in Detroit. It's everywhere. In every urban city, you have collections of young black men out in the open saying, hey, I'm angry, I'm violent, and I'm hopped up on drugs, weed, and alcohol. And I'm ready to kill somebody or have somebody kill me. And nobody's really saying anything or doing anything about it. So I ask you again, do black men truly care about black boys? Because if you get online, the only talk you hear about black men and the issues that black men face is older black men complaining about their issues with women. That's all you hear.
The thing is, can black women respect their men? What a really, if you think about it, what are black men really asking for, right? Respect and you to be nice to them, okay? And what's the first thing that black women use? And what is sign language, right? It's not done with your hands; it's done with their what? Mouth, okay? So all the money all the money that you've made, all the education that you've acquired, okay, the work that you've done to make yourself look good, to get that man or high value man, the first thing to do, you tear it down all down with what your mouth, because you can't control it.
They think it's their responsibility and their duty to defend mama, as if mama is the only motherfucker that's the reason that they here. And that's some shit that always confused me. I be sitting there thinking to myself, like, how the children got this much loyalty for mama and damn near none for dad? And see, this is the most insulting part for all the fellas out there. The most insulting part about it is when it's time to pay child support. When it's time to buy the children clothes and whatever the fuck else. It takes two. It takes two people to make a baby.
Internet famous boss chicks say men need to match their grind. You ever stop and think, what is their grind? We'll get back to that in a few, and it's crazy. Trust me. I watched over 30 videos of women saying men need to match their hustle, and I found out that when you investigate what their hustle is, how they do it, how much they make, and who they do it with, and what they become after they do it, there are some shocking correlations on all of these women.
Well, since men don't want to cooperate and they're passport bros and they're red pill and even when they're none of that, they're still just not up to par in terms of our expectations. Well, we're going to date each other. Okay. And they, there's very little talk amongst them about the statistics around that, how long those relationships last, so on and so forth. But what I find interesting is to now hear this demographic saying, you know what, we've had a taste of what men do. And I mean a taste. It's not extensive, but she had enough to say, wait a minute. And usually it takes someone who's never done it before, right? Because this is something I've waited for men to really talk about for years. I mean, men, for the most part, this is just something we've done in terms of how we relate to women. And I call it male relationship emotional labor.
Man, sit your dumb ass down and shut.
Don't. Go ahead.
I'm
not going to do
it. You're right.
No, it's okay.
We can't help you, Max.
I have to go.
We can't help you.
I can't talk about that.
We can't help you.
I can't talk about that.
We really can't.
I can't talk about that.
We can't help.